Welcome back to my face. My name is Brianna. I'm the head honcho here at Bamby Media. What do you do with your podcast over the Christmas period? Do you take a break? Do you keep releasing? Today I wanted to chat to you about what I think you should do this year for 2023 based on the statistics that I am seeing, the insights that I have tracked down, the download figures that I could find, and also what we see in the trends from the clients that we actually have. So to give you some context, we're a podcast and video production company based in Australia. We have over 60 clients globally that release on a weekly basis. We track their download numbers on a monthly basis for the entirety that they work with us, which for a lot of them is quite a long time. And so we have years worth of data, which is awesome to have a look at and then see how things are trending over time. What I want you to do this year is different to what I would have said last year, and I'm going to break it down for you. When we assessed the clients that we have on our books, and I look at the insights that I've pulled from PodTrack and Edison Research, what looks to be pretty clear to me is that taking a full-on break for a month in December is something I wouldn't advise you to do. Traditionally, in the past, I have said, yeah, take a break in December. Download numbers are lower anyway. But now listenership is climbing so much in Australia and the US, and in fact globally, that I don't think you need to take a break in December other than perhaps for your mental state. If you feel like you really need to take a break, then take a break. But I don't think that December is necessarily the time to do it anymore. There's definitely a huge appetite for podcast listening in December. And then January, it goes bonkers. I would say if you want to take a break in December because you're overwhelmed, you want time off yourself, you're not going to be in your regular schedule, don't take a break, but instead, if your show is old enough, so probably more than 6 months old, go back through your back catalogue and find 3 or 4 episodes that you think would be really good to run again. And look at what the popular ones were during the last maybe 12 months. I would run them as recasts, and I would put at the beginning of them a new little intro thing where you say, hey, I'm taking a break. These are my top episodes. And I really think that if you haven't had a chance to listen to those, this is a great time to catch up on some past stuff. That way, you're still releasing over the period that we know people are actually still listening. And then January goes up so high. When I look traditionally at the data that I have for all the clients that we have, and then also the industry data that I can find, January is a big month for podcasting. It's a good time to be releasing new material. If you don't batch at any other time, coming up to a period where you want to take a break, it doesn't mean your podcast has to take a break. It just means you need to be a little bit more organized and batch some flippin' episodes. Decide how many episodes you want to have as recasts. Do a little intro for those and then rerun them. And then record in your content plan somewhere in November a couple of extra episodes. Instead of recording 1 episode in a week, record 2. And do that for a couple of weeks through November so that when it comes time to December, you've got stuff that you can release. Hopefully you've got someone on your team, or if you outsource to Bamby Media or some other production team, then there'll be a content plan ahead of time. It'll be scheduled in. The people that you work with will have to batch the repurposing. So you need to put that into your spread of things to do in November. But to me, it really is worth it. I've had this company now for 9 years and I've seen what happens every year. So I want you to go and think about that. What could I record for December now? So that I can take a break, my team can take a break, and I can still have things releasing. There's a few categories that really benefit. If I look at the data that we have here from PodTrack, true crime, very beginning of January, has fantastic growth. Health and fitness towards the end of December and beginning of January goes well. Business is a little bit slower during that period. Business really starts to kick back in around January 15th-ish. Think about what category you're in. And then when you're planning out the content that you want to release through December, think about what your industry would want to know about in December. And in saying that as well, is that knowing that January is such a high month, even if your podcast listener doesn't connect with you for a couple of weeks in December and you've released some content in January, they're probably going to listen to it because they're going to have more time and they're going to see that you have past episodes that they haven't listened to yet, and they're going to engage with them as well because that Christmas holiday rush is over and now there's new stuff that they're excited to listen to, and they may have more time than just the one episode a week that they were actually investing in you before that. That is absolutely the case for me. If I have a podcast that I love and I've had a particularly busy couple of weeks, when I get my time back to be able to listen to it again, I'll binge. And if they've released good stuff, I'm going to listen to 4 or 5 episodes because, that's the industry I'm in. I love it, obviously. But something to be aware of there. Don't just think December, cool, I'm going to take a break and release nothing. Can I release some recasts? Can I batch up and continue to release stuff and just be a little bit more organized? And I would argue that looking at our statistics, certainly from the Australian clients that we have, that June is probably a slower month than December is. So if you want to take a break, June might be a little bit more of a time to do it. And what I really want you to take away from this is that if you need to take a break, take one. If you're buggered and content is like the last thing that you want to be thinking about through November to try and batch, take a break. I get it. I understand it. But if you want to get fired up for 2024 and the podcast is a massive part of your marketing and you're trying to grow this audience, I wouldn't take a break. I would recast if I needed to a couple of episodes, give myself a little bit of breathing room, and then record maybe 2 or 3 more than I usually would during November so that December is set. It's all about priorities. And if your podcast is a high priority for you, then you will make batching content possible. You will find those extra hours that you need to record and repurpose, or you will reach out to your production company and say, this is what I'm doing. For us here at Bamby Media, we send an email to all our clients at the very beginning of November outlining what it is that we would like them to do and also when we're taking a break, because we take a break. The whole company has a break for about a month. And so we go nuts and batch every client up, anyone that's got content for us, prior to the break so that everything still gets released. And we see the benefit of that for the amount of consumption that is still happening for these podcasts. And also we have clients that reach out to us and go, thank you so much for making me batch because I got a lot of stuff done and I still get the benefit of releasing. I wish I could batch all the time. Make a list, prioritize what you need to prioritize, take a break if you need to, recast if you need to, and batch yourself up so that you can take a break and the podcast doesn't necessarily have to. That's it from me today. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please hit the like button, the subscribe button, the little notification dingy belly thing. If you have any ideas for the podcast, please let me know. Please leave in the comments. I love the comments. I love replying to comments. And I'm so excited there's so many of you that reach out and actually comment on things too. That's something that podcasting doesn't allow a lot of on podcast platforms. So that's why I'm over on YouTube doing that. Thanks everybody. Have a great day.